I'm here to speak out against any tax increases, especially the meals tax. I think if there was one group of businesses that's been hit pretty hard during COVID, it would be our local restaurants. I think the chains are going to do a great job making it through it, but you'd just be killing the small family-run restaurants if you guys do this meals tax. I mean, first they got hit with COVID, now they're getting hit with inflation, and most of their food costs, they can't even push to their customers in full because nobody would come to their restaurants anymore. So I ask you to vote no to the meals tax and take that off the budget for consideration this year.
Supervisor Bailey, in your district, right down the road from you, you have a Dollar Tree store. I know you know where it is. 2 months ago, my wife went into that store. When she came home, she went there to buy some bathroom bead fragrances. They're $1. When she came home, she told me that everything in that store that used to be $1 was $1.25. It's 25% cost increase. Now, a quarter's not going to kill us. We can afford a quarter, and that's not the point. The point is that the cost increase were 25% in that store alone. You look across all businesses and industries, costs are going up at rates unprecedented for probably 40 or 50 years since the 70s. I don't know how many of you guys remember having to stand in gas line to get 5 gallons of gas back in the 70s. That was the limit. So where am I going with this? I want to talk about the meal tax, but I want to do it in a different manner. I want each of you to go home tonight, and I want you to plan to have a July 4th cookout at your house. I want you to plan for 10 to 20 people. Then I want you to go, and I want you to go to the grocery store, and I want you to price that out. Then on July 1st, when you actually go to buy your supplies for that, make sure you carry an extra 10 or 20% of your budget in your wallet, because that's what it's going to be. News agencies have already reported basically by July you will be paying 10 to 20% more for your food. Why is that important? Now you want to impose another 4% on the meals tax? I say no. So I know you guys know this. I know you see it. It's on the news. There's nothing earth-shattering in what I'm saying. What I'm telling you is this is the wrong time to do it. It doesn't hurt people in the county making $300,000, $400,000, $500,000. It's going to hurt the people making $30,000, $40,000 because they don't have that kind of disposable income. And quite frankly, neither do my wife and I. So if I have to go out and go to a restaurant and I have to economize on what I buy and my wife buys because of a 4% meal tax, I consider that kind of incompetence on your part when you can go out and you can see these news stories and see what they're saying for not only food, gasoline, energy prices. These are things that people cannot control. You need to find another way to come up, if you want $25 million more dollars, which is I think the figure that I've heard, you need to find another way to find that $25 million, or you need to cut your budget. Thank you.
I live in the Brentsville district, and I'm here on behalf of the poor, beleaguered taxpayers who see our tax bills go up year after year after year after year. And I would urge you to find ways to cut spending, to make government more efficient rather than just taking more of our taxpayer funds. I'm not here to advocate for any spending. I'm here to advocate for cuts. Feel free to cut anything you think that will benefit me. I don't care. I want less spending. I want less taxes so I can make decisions on my own on how I want to spend my own money, so I can save for retirement, so I can donate to the charities that I want, so I can do things, take my kids on vacations. I don't want more government spending. There's so much waste in Prince William County government. It is just shocking when you look at the details. And there's never any efforts to find any savings, to do things differently, to cut spending and save taxpayer money. On top of that, you're building data centers everywhere, including in my backyard. And when I mean in my backyard, I mean literally in my backyard. 50 feet away, there's going to be 75-foot data centers. You're building data centers all over the county. That money should be used from that increased tax revenue to reduce taxes on homeowners.
Politics is a numbers game, and here are some numbers I think the board needs to consider. The cost of living in Prince William County is 26% above the national average. Inflation is at 7.9%, which is the highest it's been in 40 years. Home values in Prince William County have increased 15% in the past 2 years, but the average household income in Prince William County has increased only by 6% in that same time frame. In a time of inflation and rising costs, this board is planning on raising taxes on its residents and businesses again. Now, the genius move some supervisors have done is to gaslight people as soon as this budget became public. You try to play a shell game between the tax rate and the increase in property values. When your tax bill is 5% higher than it was only a year ago, that's a tax increase no matter how it happens. And if that weren't enough, in this same budget, you propose a meals tax of 4% on restaurants. Many of these restaurants have barely survived the past 2 years of COVID. They're struggling even now as the cost of everything is going up, and ultimately, that cost gets transferred to the consumer, which takes more money out of the pockets of the very people you claim you want to help. Anywhere else we'd call that extortion, here it's taxation. At the same time, supervisors are telling us not to believe our lying eyes. You're also telling us to shut up because, as one of our supervisors was quoted as saying, we have nearly 500,000 people in Prince William County. We need a budget that reflects that. Size doesn't matter. It's what you do with it. You keep coming to us asking for money, and yet you make decisions which make us wonder why you should have it in the first place. You nullify the hard work of a nonpartisan redistricting commission and unilaterally redraw the maps in a way which leaves the stink of partisan politics on the whole process. You greenlit collective bargaining, which will cost $700,000 at a minimum to implement and will only balloon as this board's budget gets captured by public sector unions. And now, with the possibility of the Washington Commanders moving here, you want to raise taxes on the very businesses which would stand to benefit from the team coming to this county. That is unless, of course, the Commanders are exempt from this meals tax, and we all know how popular Dan Snyder is as an owner, so I'm sure there wouldn't be any blowback from that. We have nearly 500,000 residents in this county, but the issue is not our budget. Our issue is we have a board which refuses to justify their actions unless it's something other than I want to and we have the votes, so we're doing it anyways. Politics is a numbers game, and in my opinion, the numbers on this board of 5-3 need to change to bring some sanity back to the county.
7 years in a row, we've raised taxes, and the percentage that we've raised is phenomenal. Much more than most of us got pay raises. And now you're also proposing a meal tax. Okay, you lowered I think the tax rate on real estate, but values have gone up, and so the end result is you still have an increase. We're tired of paying taxes, frankly. And many of us, myself anyways, I'm on fixed income. I'm tired of paying taxes. I'm tired of paying for programs that are going to people who are non-residents and don't belong in the county. I think there's a lot of mismanagement. In my opinion, I think there should be a flat, if you want to keep all these programs, that's all great. Tell everybody that's running these programs to take a 5% cut of over whatever they requested to bring down the tax rates for the homeowners so that we're not having an increase, and eliminate this meals tax. Either that or prioritize your programs and cut the ones at the bottom and quit paying for things we can't afford. And lastly, if there's one thing we should be paying for, it's a fully funded police department and policemen in our county.
To continue to attack the citizens and raise the taxes against the citizens just seems disgusting to me. It's small businesses as well. The meals tax. That's small businesses. We continue to hurt the citizens of this county and the small businesses of this county at the same time we give big businesses and out-of-town companies breaks. I don't get it. I don't get it. And I ask for explanation on it. Every time we're here, the citizens speak about the same thing.
Ever since I was a kid, I've been in this area. My dad owned Kilroy's restaurant down here for 25 years. This has been proposed ever since I can remember. So for the past 37 years of my life, it's come up, and it's always been shot down because nobody wants to pay more for going out to dinner. So keep that in mind. It's been shot down plenty of times before, and it should be shot down again. With that being said, we are currently incurring additional costs to maintain our restaurants with the current increase in food, labor, cost, and additional business expenses. We have gone through economic fluctuations with the recent COVID impacting some restaurants to the degree of closing. Now, we are attempting to add an additional tax to already strained restaurants and businesses. One way that I'm cutting costs, I own the restaurant and I wash dishes. I'll bust tables. So I don't have to pay someone to do that because there's no money coming in. The cost of food's gone up tremendously. I just sat down with my kitchen manager 2 days ago saying, well, I'll be driving to Restaurant Depot to try to cut cost out so we don't have to increase prices. And then I heard about this that was going on. All it's going to do is really, really kill some small businesses. I've talked to a few business owners that have small restaurants, and they are not making any money. A handful of them are lucky that their wives do have a job, because one guy did tell me that he's pretty much doing it just because of his heart for the love of the business. So please keep in mind that we don't want this. Nobody wants it. And by increasing this tax, people look at the bottom line of the bill. They don't look at it as it's a tax. They look at it as the restaurant owners making more money, and that's not true. That 4% is going to wherever you're going to throw it, and it's just hurting us completely.